This graph shows the overall separation for slot wide receivers in the 2023 season. As you can see, players in the top right score higher on both raw separation grade and catch point and yards after catch grade. In the top right, we have elite slot receivers as well as elite receivers that line up in the slot often. Guys like CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Ayuk, Tyreek Hill, Jamar Chase, DJ Moore, and Amon-Ra St. Brown. However, there's a lone player who's in his own category. That player is Dontayvion Wicks. This begs the question. If Dontayvion Wicks is technically open the most, lined up from the slot, why is he not dominating? That's the big question, so let's look into it. First, let's take a look at this ESPN ranking of wide receivers from the 2024 season. While they don't disclose their systems for creating these ratings, we can assume that they use statistics as well as film to create them. Looking at the top guys for their open rating, we see the top 3 are all elite receivers. Malik Nabers, Mike Evans, and AJ Brown would all be considered top 15 receivers in the league, and their scores relay that. But if you look at who's number 4, Dontayvion Wicks, and you look and see that he's an 84 open rating. But if you look one rating to the right, on his catch rating, it's a 0. Well, that's the story of Dontayvion Wicks. Wicks was a 5th round selection out of the University of Virginia, where he was viewed as a guy who would be a decent backup and a special team player. His draft profile was eerily accurate to how he plays now. He was viewed as a great route runner who could create separation with ease and elusive enough to create yard after catch opportunities. But his biggest weakness? Drops. Even with the drop issues, Packers gave him a chance and he made the most out of his rookie year. Wicks finished with a 39, 581, and 4 split and showed promise to why he could be the main guy in this receiving core with fellow rookie Jaden Reed and 2 second-year players in Romeo Doubs and Christian Watson. Coming into 2024, he was viewed as a big breakout candidate. He was coming into his second year with a much more polished offense around him, and he led the Packers in targets last year, but that was with some injuries around him, and he stayed relatively healthy all year. Even with this, he put up similar numbers to 2023 with a 39, 415, and 5 split, but something stood out: the drops. Looking at this chart, this shows the drop rate leaders in 2024, and this uses targets, receptions, drops, and then creates a drop rate. As you can see, there are 2 Green Bay Packers wide receivers at 1 and 2, but Dontayvion Wicks led the pack with a 20.5% drop rate according to this. Now let's watch some film. In this clip, Wicks is lined up in the slot, and right off the ball he gets it open, and then he drops the ball and gets smoked in the same play. Now here's another clip. In this one, he's going to get open right over the middle. And the ball is well thrown a little behind, and it just completely slips through his hands. And this is where the frustration comes out. Now here's the last clip I want to take a look at. In this clip, he is second from the bottom. And as you can see, he's going to get separation really quick. And as the pocket collapses, he gets a ball thrown right to him, and it slips through his hands again. Now, I think there's a reason to not give up so fast. Another Packers receiver had a massive drop issue in the first 2 years of his career, and then in year 3 turned it around. Who was that guy, you ask? Davante Adams, otherwise known as Drop Vontae, for the first 2 years of his career. How you can look at it is it's much easier to teach someone to focus on the ball more and teach catching technique than it is to teach someone how to get open, especially in zone coverage and finding the soft spots. Wicks has the ability to get open. He's elite at it, but now it just comes down to focusing and catching the ball. Let's look into this year and somewhat explain why I could see Wicks having a large role not only in this year, but also in the future. Number 1 is injury issues in Green Bay's wide receiver room. Jaden Reed is playing with a Jones fracture in his foot and is opting out of surgery, which could cause issues down the road, and also he could have the surgery later in the season. Another thing is Romeo Doubs had 2 concussions last year, so one this year would probably put him out for an extended period of time. Lastly, Christian Watson is coming off his ACL tear, and while hopes are that he can come back earlier in the season, we don't know if the Packers are going to push him back or if he's going to return to form. My prediction for this year is that Wicks will shock everyone. As I mentioned before, injuries are plaguing the Packers wide receiver room. While I think Matthew Golden is going to be the number one for the future, he is still a rookie. Wicks is going to be the staple in this offense. Don't be surprised if he leads the team in targets again this year, and hopefully plays like another Packers wide receiver that had drop issues in his first 2 years.